So this next topic is really easy to understand, but I want to make sure that people do understand it. What is this cloud computing? Well, the truth is the term cloud just became a marketing thing, right? Internet computing facts is the same thing as cloud computing facts. We just called it a cloud, and really, I think that happened because when you're a network person and you're drawing a diagram of how your company connects to the internet, they used to just make the internet look like a cloud. And the reason why they would do that is because the internet is super complicated. So we can't really show you all those connections. They're changing minute by minute. And so, you just draw a cloud up there. And then, hey, we're going to actually start accessing and storing our files on the internet. Instead, they started saying we're going to access and store our files on the cloud. Right. So I remember when this would have been called internet-based storage, and now it's called cloud-based storage. Microsoft's OneDrive or Dropbox, where you can store files out there. You can back up your system to it. And there's so many benefits to cloud computing. It really gives you the ability as a person at home on a smaller device that's not too powerful to have access to a large bank of computers that are very powerful. And then, of course, as long as you can access that information, you can get it from anywhere. And that is really the point. We can back up to the cloud. That way I don't have to worry about it at home. I actually just worry about it at home. And I only have certain things backed up to the cloud. It's accessible everywhere. And it means because it's accessible everywhere, you can collaborate easier. Some of the things we do within work now, we share out a file, we share out a folder, we share out a whole set of documents, a whole bunch of them. And that was hard to do back in the day. You would share that out and it's only available on the internal network. You had to be at your desk in order to do that. And to get into the system, or create a VLAN into the system, was not necessarily cheap or easy to do. And so that was an issue. All of a sudden you switch to Microsoft Office 365 and you go, I share this folder with, this person I work with, boom. Now you just have access and it's a piece of cake. Resource pooling. Many businesses want to expand their computing resources without having to purchase and maintain their own hardware. This is a really big thing in cities where they have super fast internet connections. And what they can do is just walk in and be like, hey, we're going to start a business here with us 10 people. And I'm not going to go out and buy a $10,000 server or a $3,000 server that I have to upgrade when we're successful. And then somebody's got to manage it, and then we got to hire somebody. What we'll do instead is we'll have our firewall router sitting over there. All of us will connect to that, and we'll use Amazon AWS. We'll use Office 365, and all of it's out there, right? Our email server's out there. Our file servers are out there. We don't have to worry about it. That's a huge deal. That's why I said in larger areas, like in this area, this is becoming a big thing because our internet has done very well. But if you're out in some rural place, this is not going to really help you much because you're going to have a tough time accessing it, right? Now, the drawbacks of it is that it's all sitting out there. So you don't have a good password. You better be worried about the privacy and security of that. On top of it, somebody else is hosting it. It's not on your own system, meaning we need to trust Microsoft or we need to trust Amazon. And if you're really dumb, you're trusting Google, right? Because Google's already told you that they're harvesting all the data that you put out there. So if you use Google Docs or whatever, there's no privacy as opposed to others. Internet connections issues, that can become a big deal, right? Again, if you're in a rural area and now your internet's down, you can't access your files, you can't access your emails, you can't do anything. And then, of course, the hosting services itself, these places are huge, massive, but they can have outages where the router is not routing things to them properly, or it's really slow because one whole site can't be gotten to, so they can't split the load up. That can happen. And then, of course, cost. It's not necessarily cheaper to do cloud computing or cloud storage. It really depends on what you're using it for, how you're using it. It may be cheaper to do it in-house because the cost, it just may cost you a lot for what you're trying to get done.